Hello and welcome to this special show on Rajya Sabha Television. I am Vishal Dahiya, and here we take a stock of the battle against COVID-19 pandemic. Now, one of the very important aspects of this fight is the testing strategy. And when we talk about the tests for COVID-19, RT-PCR test is considered to be the gold standard test to find out whether a person is infected with COVID-19 or not. Nowadays, there has been a lot of discussion in the public domain about one aspect of RT-PCR test, and that is the CT value. A CT value is the cycle threshold value to, wherein we get to know as to whether or not the particular sample has the ample amount of viral load, that is whether a person is infected to an extent or not. We'll try and understand what exactly is CT value, how important is this particular value to RT-PCR tests, and the entire discussion around that as well. But before we do that, let me first introduce all the guests who are with us today on this particular topic. We have with us Dr. Rakesh Mishra. He's the Director for Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology, CSIR Institute. We also have with us Dr. Santa Sabuj Das. He's Scientist F with ICMR and ICED in Kolkata. And we're also joined by Dr. Vikas Manchanda, Associate Professor of the Department of Microbiology in Maulana Azad Medical College, that is MANC in New Delhi. Welcome, all of you gentlemen, to Rajya Sabha TV. Let me begin with you, Dr. Vikas, and let's start by, putting things in perspective for our viewers as to why we are talking about CT value today and exactly what is a CT value, a cycle threshold value, when we talk about RT-PCR tests.
Yeah, good evening to all of you. Conventionally, when we do PCR is nothing but a polymerase chain reaction where we amplify or multiply the genetic material of any sample which is there with us. So initially, when we used to do the PCR, we used to amplify the nucleic acid or DNA or RNA, and then we used to run it on the gel for the presence or absence of it. So it was a very cumbersome process. Now what we have is the fluorescent dyes which are available. So there is a machine which is known as the RT-PCR machine, and when we amplify the things or the nucleic acid is amplified, after certain amount, so suppose there is one RNA, and when you convert it into DNA, and then in DNA it multiplies. So with every cycle of multiplication, it doubles. So 1 will become 2, 2 will become 4, 4 will become 8, and so on. So now the machine has the ability to detect this number after certain quantity of RNA or DNA when it has been multiplied. So what is known as the fluorescence ability, detection ability of the RT-PCR machine. Mm-hmm. So when we mix everything or we make a solution in which those dyes are there, we have the reaction mixture. And after certain time, when the RNA or DNA quantity increases, the fluorescence start appearing on the screen. So the cycle number on which the fluorescence start depicting on the screen is known as a cycle threshold. Now, this cycle threshold just tell us the presence or absence of nucleic acid amplification or multiplication. So, the level of the cycle threshold generally denotes in an ideal condition what was the initial DNA or RNA copies were. So, this is all about in a layman language, what is a cycle threshold?
And what's the cycle threshold for COVID-19 tests, Dr. Vikas?
Yeah, so traditionally, when we do any of the diagnostic assay on a real-time PCR machine, generally, the cutoff value is 35, which has been taken in. It is a balance between over-detection and under-detection. So the moment we say that the cycle threshold is over 35, there could be various implication to it, and the major implication is false positivity. That means there may be slightest of contamination or very, very minuscule amount of initial genetic material or RNA or DNA, which is leading to this delayed or over cycle threshold. Now, this cycle threshold for COVID varies from kit to kit also. So one of the commercial kit may have a cycle threshold, say up to 35 it is positive. Others may have up to 40, and there are many which may even go up to 42. It's like bit of overkill of detection because there is a risk of not missing it, or so that is why. But the balance cutoff which has been taken by consensus is generally 35.
Okay, before I move on to Dr. Rakesh Mishra and Dr. Das, there one more question, Dr. Vikas, and that is, generally on the COVID-19 test reports for the patients, since we're talking about laymen here, our viewers who would understand what we're talking about, this CT value is not mentioned out there. And the discussion or the debate in public domain is whether or not that CT value should be there and that particular CT value denotes something or not. So your views on that?
Yeah, my understanding is very, I would say, in a general terms, it's a new test for our community, right? Although we are doing it in a research mode for a long period of time, diagnostics have just started maybe 10 to 15 years back in the public domain. But understanding the CT value and trying to interpret that for a common man and for the treating physician is not an easy task. It creates more of confusion than helping the physician, treating physician, or the patient itself. Okay. So, to my take is clearly that we should have the unambiguous report. And as on today, with the kind of technologies we have, we just have the presence or absence of the genetic material or the RNA for the COVID. So, CT values should not be given. There are various reasons also of saying that CT value should not be given, or how we are confident in interpreting the clinical implication of that CT value. Because when we say that we are taking a sample in a COVID case, it is generally the nasopharyngeal swab and combination of oral swab, which is recommended by ICMR, just to improve the sensitivity of the test so that we are missing very few or minuscule amount or negligible amount. So just to carry it, we have NPS or nasopharyngeal swabs and the oral swabs in a single tube, in the same tube. Now what happens is that we have multiplicity of healthcare workers, starting from the field worker to a perfect in a maybe some tertiary center. Now each person has different skill of obtaining that sample. For example, in a nasal swab, certain people will be just going just on maybe few millimeters or centimeter inside the nose. There may be few which will be just pushing it till the end of the nose. Okay. And also keeping the sample or that particular swab for certain seconds means variation in the material, clinical material, or the sample which we are trying to take from that particular patient. Now, keeping in view of this large variation in sample, there is a risk of change in CT value. So when we are seeing a report with certain CT value, we do not know how emphatically or skillfully that particular sample has been taken. Okay. So that is the first thing which is risky. When I say risky to report CT value, that we are not very confident what does it denotes. Typically, CT value denotes the initial viral load. Typical when we have a homogeneous sample, say for example, blood is there, and we take a blood sample and we want, but COVID, we do not do the blood testing for RT-PCR. It's not a good sample for that. So we are doing NP and oral swab. So mixture of the two means changing the homogeneity of the sample itself. So that is one of the main risks. Then, being an RNA virus, there is a fragility inside that particular sample which is being taken, or the viral fragility is there. So if there is a distant village sample which has been transported to the central lab in certain major city, again, we do not know how, at what temperature that particular sample has been sent. So that also makes difficult to say that confidently this is the initial viral load which is there. Third thing is the variation in viral shedding which we see all around. And ideally, when we say viral shedding, extent of viral shedding, a person who gets ill initially there will be very, very less number of viral shedding, which is going to happen. RNA copies will be there, and gradually it should go on increase. And as the patient recover, it should go on decrease. So typical bell-shaped curve, which we call
Okay.
CT value pattern, which ideally should be, but it doesn't happen that way. It
Okay.
also depends on a lot of host factor or the patient factor, whether the patient is diabetic, immunocompromised, or having certain comorbidities other than diabetes also. They also come into place because studies are there which even in a more severe case, we may have very, very minuscule viral shedding. So typically more severe, less viral shedding, more severe, more viral shedding. Both ways it has been seen in the
Okay.
people.
So these are the factors. These are the factors which you're pointing out, Dr. Vikas, that might be the reason behind the risk of not, or rather divulging the CT value as far as reports are concerned. Let me bring in Dr. Rakesh here as well. Dr. Rakesh, two questions. One, obviously, your views on the importance of the cycle threshold value in a COVID, RT-PCR test for COVID-19, and also the other aspect of whether or not to go ahead and put that cycle threshold value, that CT value, on the test report for the patient or the the doctor to go ahead and have a look at it.
So I completely agree with Dr. Vikas Manchanda that there are lots of variations in this test because it's a relatively challenging test that you collect the sample, and he explained how there can be variation during that process. Then you have to make RNA from that, then you have to convert to DNA, then you have to use reagents. And at each of these steps, there may be variations. And that is why the CT value may vary from different lab to different lab, different kit. But having said that, as far as the technology is concerned, the difference in normal PCR and RT-PCR is that RT-PCR is considered quantitative. And in fact, the cycle threshold does indicate what was the starting material. Now, with any technology, there will be error, and you have to live with that error. There are a range of errors that is possible. To me, CT, this test is not only plus and minus. If there is a person with CT value 18, 19, 15, and there's a test in which CT value is 30, I will deal it differently. I will know the difference. For example, we do a lot of viral genome sequencing. If a sample comes with 30 CT, we will not worry because we know that virus will be less. And if you try sequencing, you will waste chemical and you will not find much. And if it is say in 18, 17 CT value, we do sequencing, we get nice yield. So it does correlate that lower CT value means more virus in the sample. So that means person is shedding more virus if CT value is low. Now, whether to tell it to the patient or not is something which has many issues. If you ask me as a simple citizen, I would like to know the truth about whatever is there. Whether I know to interpret and truth and all, whether I will go crazy if I see low CT value, I will take liberty if I see high CT value. That is something that has to be taken care. But as an individual, you may want to know the truth. That doesn't mean, see, the spread of virus is not definitely depending only on the virus. It's the people who are spreading the virus. If with a CT value of very low, if you are sitting in a room and proper protection, you are not spreading. No matter, CT value can be any low. But even if CT value of 30 or 32, I'll not talk about 35, 36, that might be a different thing. That person can also spread because if it is too much free, is he sitting and having tea with you for half an hour, then there is a risk of that. So it is good to know what all is. It's like it's your sugar level. You can be told that your sugar is high, your sugar is low, go and take care of your thing. But now if you tell the patient, they will be upset. They'll say, "Nahi, doctor sahab, bolo kitna hai level." So our awareness about this CT and these are relative new techniques, so it's not that much. I think at least clinicians should know what is CT value, where the individuals know anything or not about this. If I have to tick yes or no, I will say you tell and also tell how to deal with it. But I fully agree that CT value does not immediately mean that you are more spreader or a less spreader, and all spreading is dependent on many other things. and your CT value difference of 4, 5, 3. I will not distinguish too much between CT value 24, 28, 22 and all. To me, they look very similar. And it may just be the error thing, or it may reflect the truth also. That is not just a few fold more of RNA. So there is no harm in telling. So we are free country. People want to know the information, that they should be told that this is the caveat in this process. But it does indicate initial viral load. And having said that, I just want to repeat that higher load doesn't mean higher infectivity, and that is why there is no clear-cut correlation. Otherwise, life would have been simpler. Spreading depends on many other things, largely on the behavior of the person.
Okay, that's a very, very important and operative point out there, that high viral load does not mean that that person has the chances of spreading the virus more. It depends upon the protective steps which have been taken by a particular person, whether or not the infection is less or more. Let me bring in Dr. Das here. Dr. Das has been patiently listening to all of us. Dr. Das, before I put my question to you, let me read out a statement by ICMR's Director General, Professor Balram Bhargava, in a letter to the Karnataka Chief Secretary in July, wherein he said that it is not advisable to attach threshold value, that is CT value, to RT-PCR tests results of COVID-19 patients as requested by the state. Now, my question is that the stand which ICMR has as of now as well, and the reason behind that as well? Would you agree to what Dr. Vikas was saying earlier, the risk factors which, are not advisable to go ahead and reveal the CT value to the patient on the test report?
Good evening, Vishal and Dr. Vikas and Dr. Misra. Yes, ICMR has that stand, and in fact, on at ICMR website, there the stand is clearly mentioned in a statement published on 5th of August, where ICMR clearly mentions. So there is an expert committee meeting which concluded that. As far as the current technology stands, CT value, attaching CT value to RT-PCR diagnostic test is not going to help treating the patient or even, controlling the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Well, the reasons have been elaborately mentioned by Dr. Vikas. The important point is that, so as he has already mentioned, first of all, there are many kits. So we are using a mixed bag of kits. It's not a single kit. So kit to kit CT values differ. Okay. Mm-hmm. So same center is using different times, different kits. And then, as he has already mentioned, and Dr. Rakesh has also mentioned, that the disease transmission or the severity of the disease does not always correlate with the CT values. Okay. There are anecdotal reports of that, but large concluding studies, has not been published yet. More important is that, and also, as Dr. Vikas mentions, that starting from collection of samples, from where you collect the samples, and then transport, processing of samples, and then, doing actual RT-PCR, RNA extraction, and then PCR. So all these things, RT-PCR, all these techniques, they are liable to be, there are variations.
Okay.
The depending on the persons who are handling this. So all these things will change the CT values, because this is a very highly sensitive test. So small changes will result in, significant changes in the CT values. More importantly, from patient's point of view, the viral load as of now, or I would say, if that is to be detected. So there are two issues. One is that whether viral load directly correlates with the disease manifestation, like high viral load means more severe disease, and also disease transmission. This is one. Another is whether CT value can detect viral load convincingly. So these are the two issues. Okay. Now, regarding the first issue, whether high viral load means more severe disease, is not always true, because as we know, the disease is largely determined by the host response. Okay. we know about the cytokine storm, we know about these comorbidities. So even with with a high CT value, a person with a comorbidity may have a more severe disease. So then CT value will be misleading. So if somebody has a high CT value, he will be complacent that, okay, I have a high CT value, so I don't have to worry. But having a comorbidity will result in more severe disease in his case. So this is one thing. Other thing is that whether CT value can be, extrapolated as the viral load, so far as the current technology stands. Now, there is a danger in interpreting naive CT value to the viral load, because this test is what test we are doing now is at best it is a qualitative test, as Vikas mentions initially. Dr. Vikas mentions that it detects whether it is present or not. Okay. So the moment that we detect fluorescence, we know that viral nucleic acids are present. So to quantitatively measure the starting amount of nucleic acid, you need a standard curve. Okay, so that if that is not there, if it is not compared to the standard curve, then you cannot really interpret, you cannot really deduct the starting material. So okay. that is a major. So the current technology, because it varies from one to other, so that this is not there. But I fully agree with Dr. Rakesh that yes, if we can, we should try to develop the technology further, so that at some point of time we could convincingly say, yes, this CT value reflects the viral load. And, if we can relate it to the disease severity for a particular patient. Okay. So if somebody who has no other comorbidity, okay, this CT value should be considered safer. With the comorbidity, this CT value will be considered safer. So if we can go to that stage, that should be our goal. But as of now, if the testing laboratories attaches the CT values, it actually will not give I would say, as Dr. Vikas says, that it will create some confusion to the people, may actually, people may misinterpret this, and that may
give a false sense of security to certain
false sense of security,
and
or false sense of alarm.
Alarm to certain others.
Yes, exactly. That is the problem. That is the reason why ICMR, as of today, doesn't recommend attaching CT values.
Okay, but a second point, which as Dr. Rakesh Mishra pointed out, and several others are also in the public domain in the debate are pointing out this, that it's just like several other tests. A patient should know as to how severe is the disease out there for which he or she has been tested, if at all they've been found positive. So how would you look at this argument, Dr. Das?
Yes, well, the severity of the disease should be, related to the background of the patient, like whether the person has comorbidities or not, all these things, and also the symptoms. Okay, so if some person has shortness of breath, respiratory distress, of course, the person has severe disease. So it should be, related to the clinical condition rather than the CT values or so-called viral load. So that is the whole point, actually. So patient should be concerned about whether there is persistent high fever, whether there is a lot of sore throat, whether there is particularly shortness of breath. So all these things actually should be the determinant factor for seeking hospital admission or emergency medical care rather than a CT value.
And to find out the severity of the disease out there. Before we bring this to an end, the same question to Dr. Vikas, this point which Dr. Rakesh brought out and Dr. Das responded to that. This is also one of the arguments which is given in the public domain about the right of the patient to know the severity of the disease out there. But then, given all these points which both you and Dr. Das also made and Dr. Rakesh also pointed out, that CT value does not necessarily define the severity of the disease as well.
Yeah. So honestly speaking, I am always in favor of right of a patient, But unfortunately, we do not have mechanism to tell anything to that particular patient, right? Okay. In fact, it can do harm more than the good to the patient, right? So I think till we develop or improve our technologies in terms of diagnosis, we should stick only to the final result, that is positive or negative, or insert in very minuscule amount of cases we say, okay, you need to, it's inconclusive, you need to repeat the test. So giving something which we do not have, or hypothetically giving something, becomes too risky for the patient. It's not about withholding any information. Actually, we don't have the information, right? So till we have the confident, credible information, it will be too premature to say that we should have CT values into our reports.
Okay, there it is. Thank you so much, Dr. Vikas, Dr. Rakesh Mishra, and Dr. Das as well from ICMR for sharing your views on this very important aspect of COVID-19 pandemic, that is the CT values in RT-PCR tests. And as our panelists are pointing out, it is not advisable, as the ICMR also says in its guidelines, to put the CT value on the test reports because of these certain reasons. And perhaps more study, more research will bring out more clarity on this aspect, and then perhaps CT values may or may not be defined at a later stage. Thank you so much once again. We'll come back with a different topic. Till then, you keep watching Rajya Sabha television, and please do not forget to wear a face mask when you step out of your houses, because that is the best protection against COVID-19 as of now. Thank you.